Let's go. Hey, hope you're all doing well. So I've obviously got one of the Fender Tone Master Pros right here on the desk. Now, I did not buy this. Fender did not send me one, but I did see that my local music store, Landers Music, which is about an hour away, they got one in. So I messaged straight away and asked, can I borrow it? And of course they said yes, which is really cool. So thank you very much to Landers Music for letting me bring this home and demo it for all you guys on the channel. I also have the Tone Master FR12 here with me as well, and I'm going to demo that one in a different video. I picked this up yesterday and played with it for a good 5-6 hours maybe, just to get used to the unit, hear it, and get a feel for how it all works. And first impression, it's really, really good. I really like it. It's obviously got an amazing touchscreen. It's got 10 foot switches. Now these switches as well are little turny ones like on the Quad Cortex. And it's got 2 dials on the top there as well. This thing's fantastic. It's solid, it's rugged, it's built like a tank, it's built to last. Even though it's a computer at your feet, it's probably not gonna break too easily. Has a plethora of ins and outs on the back of the unit as well. We'll discuss those. Now when you get this, even though it is brand new, you still need to do a firmware update. So they've obviously released some stuff in the releasing period and fixed a few bugs. They've added in a song and set list feature, which is kind of a no-brainer. My guess is it just wasn't ready. Now it is. I didn't have to do that. Jordan did that in store for me, but it's pretty straightforward. In the box comes with very handy instructions. Just read through that, follow the prompts. It's literally got a firmware update instruction guide. And while you're on the website, download the app that you can use on the desktop with this thing. Yeah, that's right, an app. Headrush, you guys really need to up your game. All right, let's get in and have a look. This is the touchscreen. It's pretty amazing. As you can see, it looks pretty straightforward, but when you touch any effect or an amp, up pops this thing. You've got multiple ways to adjust it. You can either use your finger on the actual dial itself, which moves it, but you can probably see that guy there moved as well. If I come back out, remember I said these are little swizzle control knobs. You turn it and you can see the thing turning on the screen. Now that for me is incredible. I love that. Amp level here, and just here it's got the noise gate. Now that's across the board for all of the amps. That for me is absolute genius. You can see these 2 little buttons here. If you press that, then so there's an extra setting, which is only the resonance on this amp, but each one will be different. Up here you've got the cabinet button. You press that and you can choose where you want the microphone, what type of microphone you want. You've got the low cut and high cut, which is amazing. Each one's going to sound obviously different and they've got their own unique kind of things. You can change the types of cabinets just by pressing that as well. Now these all sound fantastic. You can load your own impulse responses, but these actually sound really good. Now for someone like me, I'm not going to be going through and loading in 4 million impulse responses just to find that one. Look at the options you've got there. There's a lot to choose from. Every effect is exactly the same kind of deal. You know, you can adjust it on here or you can adjust it here. Pretty mad. So if you wanted to change this effect, you press this little replace button here and you can choose a different effect. So obviously they've got their design. I understand that it's firmware, that's how it is, but the round fuzz, for example, if I confirm and put that in, it's not round. It's rounded on the edges. Now I get that they couldn't do that. They would need a whole heap more programming and it's still fantastic. I'm just being picky. First of all, let's go into the settings, which is the top right there. So the first setting here is retain global EQ. So if we come across to the global EQ, jump the gun there, you've got a few different settings. High cut, low cut, and you've got user presets which you can save as well. So I'm going to assume that retaining global EQ means you can load a user global EQ and retain that for individual presets. That's how that sounds to me. Auto display brightness is on, but you can come in there and adjust the display if you want to. You can do a factory reset, and that's the about. That's where you find out your firmware option. Next one along, in and out. So you can have an instrument input pads. If you've got something coming in really hot, press that and it's going to give you a -6 dB reduction there. Mic input gain, you can adjust that. It's at 9, same deal here as well. Let's put it back to 9 because that's where it was. Line input gain, same thing, you can adjust that. Phantom power, that'll be for your microphone. And loop levels 3 and 4, that means the effects loop on the back of the unit. So you can incorporate either a real amp and use 4 cable method, or you can have your own effects in there. So you've got 2 main outputs. You can have them line or instrument, and you can have them stereo or mono. You can add 2 expression pedals and a toe switch. That's a lot of option there. So you can have a wah, you can have a volume, or any other combination of whatever you want to do, and amp control. USB, reamp mode on or off. So this obviously has complete USB capabilities. You use that to attach to the app, or you can record via USB, which is also really, really cool. So there's going to be no sort of lead coloring there. It's going to be the most accurate representation of the tone. At the bottom, MIDI in and out. Full MIDI capabilities as well. Not even going to get into that. That's just awesome. Foot switches. So in the preset foot switch mode, you can either have it as 6 presets, or you can have 3 effects over 3 presets, or 3 presets over 3 effects. So currently that is just 6 presets. These are bank up and down. That is the mode and the tap. So as you can see, I've got the 3 presets on the bottom and then 3 effects on the top. I'm just going to leave that at the default, which was 6 presets. In the effects foot switch mode, you can have either 8 or 6. So if I press my button over here, currently that is 8 effects. So each one of them is assignable. If I change that to 6, these 2 here have changed back to the bank up and down, which is a good other way to use it. Tap tempo is per preset, or you can have it global, and tap LED. We'll leave that. I think that's that flashing light that's happening there. Next one along, Bluetooth. It's got Bluetooth. I'm not quite sure how that works. I haven't connected via Bluetooth yet. I've got my phone's recording this, so I'm going to check this afterwards. EQ, that is the global EQ. We checked that one. Next one is mixer. As you can see here, this is all selected as master. So if I scroll any of these, it controls the output overall, but you can choose to have them individual. So each input can have its own volume out, sending to wherever you want it to go, which is fantastic. Of course, they're USBs 1, 2, 3, and 4. And at the end, tuner. I don't know why that's there, because you've got the tuner button, but no, it's there. So that's the settings. Pretty interesting, right? At the bottom here, you can assign your expression pedals and foot switches to do whatever you want them to do. This was a stock preset and obviously came pre-assigned as such. The foot switch assign is really easy to set up. So for example, let's have a look at the green box, which is obviously the tube screamer. On and off is on that button. What I found out yesterday when I was playing with it is if I press on and off, it doesn't just have to be the tube screamer. If I touch all of these things and confirm it, and then come back out and press the green box button, all of those things turned on and off respectively. So if I bypass the amp here, then it will come back on. So that's really cool as well. You're not limited to only one thing per little button there. You can do multiples of different things within there, which is really, really cool. And of course, you can set up 8 or 6 as we saw just a moment ago. Preset settings, you got the preset volume, which you can adjust. While you're in here, you can adjust the layout as well. You got various signal path options. So whilst it is limited to however many that is, it's still way more than the Head Rush, which only has 3. GT1000 you can get in, you can move things around and make it your own. Axe effects, you can basically do whatever the hell you want. This is limited to these. However, they have thought of a lot and it is pretty flexible. Input impedance, I don't completely understand all of that, but that's what that says. So I leave it at auto. Output assign, you've got an upper path and a lower path. Let's just change to this one and then come back to the output assign. Now you can see the lower path has been turned on. If I wanted a guitar going out only output 2 and a vocal coming out only output 1, that's the way to do that. You got your preset spillover and the amp control as well. Oh, we got one more. Oh, amp controls 1 and 2. Cool. So to add a block in here, you've got two ways to do it. You can either press the add block at the bottom and it brings up the things and you can choose where you want it to be. So let's press there, we'll put an amp in. Bang, pretty easy. Or you can press the little plus button there, add in an effect. But then you can drag things around. So if I wanted to, I could bring that down to here and it moves things pretty quickly. It's amazing. Touchscreen is actually really great. And then the last one across the bottom here is the tap tempo. You've got multiple ways to do it. You can either tap on the unit itself, you can scroll up and down, you can tap there, or you can use these little increment buttons to adjust your tap tempo. This button, if I press that, it changes the view of the screen there. And then when you turn it, it's just going to cycle through your presets. They change pretty quick. And then over this side, it's going to take you to your mixer. And obviously that's going to turn the mixer volume, and that's also going to change the volume there. So here's all your combo amps. Got a whole heap of Fenders, which is incredible. I love that they're named actual Fender names. I think that's incredible that we can see that for a change. And then we've got this typical UK30 JC Clean. I've only got a handful of Marshalls here, and I found it interesting that they didn't actually put in a Jubilee preset. So that's half stacks. Then you've got amp heads only, so you can put all the amp heads in on their own and then add your own cabinets. Same thing, they're really quite fantastic. Whole heap of different overdrives and distortions, modulation effects. I love that they've got the 3D chorus, which is the Boss Dimension C. They've even got the 4 different modes and the combos. I think that's pretty cool. You've got the JC chorus as well. So the amp, the JC120 doesn't come with the chorus on it. You've got to add that afterwards, which is fine. You can tell which ones are the Boss effects. They look like Boss stomp boxes. You've got the Phase 90, of course. There's a lot of your vintage style delays in here, so Memory Man, the Space Echo, and then all of your reverb combinations. There are a couple of very big ambient ones, so Cloud, Celestial, and Nebula, and a Shimmer, which is quite nice, actually. It's really good. Compressors. The EQs I'm a little sort of meh about. There's only one parametric, which is only a 3-band parametric, and there's 2 graphic EQs. Which is fine, you've got the global EQ at the end, but again, it's a graphic EQ, it's not a parametric, which is fine, but you know. They've got 3 gates in here as well. I don't think they're absolutely necessary. You've got it on the amp, but I guess, for example, a metal gate, if you're playing some kind of djenty stuff, that's going to be the go there. Volume pedals, wahs, vocal wah, that's cool. Chromatic pitch, pedal detune, pedal shifter. As I'm sure you're all aware, it's also the only licensed EVH 5150. How amazing. Here's the back panel. Look at all of those ins and outs. Pretty flexible there. Microphone and instrument levels there. Loops 1, 2, 3, and 4. There's 4 loops. Well, look at that. Outputs 1 and 2. So output 1 is actually kind of 2 outputs in one there. You can have XLR or TRS. You got an auxiliary in. I don't really see the point of auxiliary ins personally. It's not for me. Headphones, expression pedals 1 and 2, toe switch and amp control. There's your MIDI in and out. And it's got a micro SD option as well. And I am currently connected via USB. As you can see, it's a USB-C input on there. So there we go, that's my first look at the ToneMaster Pro. It's really intuitive, it's really easy to use, and it sounds great straight out of the box. There are some really great presets in here. It came with 95, which is interesting, I think, 95. Like, you know, just do 5 more. Make it 100. That being said, there are some really great presets in here, and I'll have a look at some of those in another video. If you're new here, make sure you hit that subscribe button and keep this channel growing. In the next video, we're gonna look at how easy it is to build a preset in this new fantastic ToneMaster Pro. Thanks so much for watching. Stay tuned. See you next time.